Hello guys, please join my live session. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to today's live video. I would like to discuss with you guys about life in Thailand as a whole, how to obtain a job in Thailand, and what are the requirements for you to get a job. I'll equally talk about visa status, how you can change your visa status in the kingdom, as well as life in Thailand as a whole. What is life like in Thailand? If you're a foreigner living and working in the kingdom, these are what I'll be sharing in today's video. Please share with friends, invite your friends to join the live session. I'm here to discuss with you guys all about life in Thailand. And you can equally check out more videos on my YouTube page. There are lots of videos there that will give you an insight of what life is like in Thailand. I'll start in a jiffy. All right, if you intend to live and work in Thailand, you have to think of the requirements. What exactly do you need to live and work in the kingdom long term? What exactly do you need to work and live in the kingdom long term? The first thing you need to have in mind is the right qualification. Teaching English in Thailand requires you, the applicant, to have a bachelor's degree. That's a minimum requirement. A bachelor's degree, preferably in education. If you've got a degree in education, then that's cool. You're good to come into the kingdom and apply for a job. But before that, it's good for you to equally take a language proficiency test. I always emphasize on this. Take a language proficiency test that showcase your ability. A popular test is Toeic, Test of English for International Communication. Most would-be teachers write these exams. You can write this exam in your home country or maybe come into the kingdom and take the Toeic test. There are two centers in Thailand where you can write a Toeic exam. There is one center in Bangkok, the capital city, and one in Chiang Mai. You register for this exam and write it. It's basically focusing on listening, reading, and writing. That's all. If you take this exam, it will greatly improve your chances of having employment in the kingdom, most especially if you are a non-native speaker. The competition in Thailand is very high as far as teaching job is concerned, because a lot of foreigners are coming in from Europe, America as well, and if they are native speaker, it's quite difficult to like compete with them in terms of the job market, because what most schools and parents want is white teachers, native speakers most especially. To keep yourself up in the game, it's good for you to have all the necessary qualification and requirement to boost your employability. If you don't want to take the TOEIC test, you can equally think of taking the ICE test. It will help you a lot. Supposing you've taken these exams, then you're good to apply for jobs. And if money is your problem, you don't have to travel to Thailand to get a job. You can visit the internet. There are a lot of teaching websites in Thailand that have direct job adverts from schools, like direct employment. Visit this website and apply for jobs there. One is known as ajan.com. Ajan.com, that is spelled AJARN, full stop, COM, ajan.com. Check this website, you will see a lot of jobs there that are from schools who are looking to hire teachers directly from abroad. Join the live session, share the video with friends. What I'm discussing today is quite important if you hope to live and work long term in the kingdom. And pardon the internet connection. There are a lot of users online right now. Sometimes it's lagging. All right, so as I was saying, you need a language proficiency test in order to apply for a job in the kingdom. Once you have the proficiency test, you can visit websites like ajan.com to apply for jobs. You don't have to travel to Thailand to seek a job. If you don't have enough money, you can actually apply for a job from your home country. And if you're lucky, you get hired by a school, and this school will provide the documents that you need to travel to Thailand and start working. Another thing that is very important as far as teaching in Thailand is concerned is teaching experience. There are some of you that are working in your home country as teachers. If you have teaching experience at home, it's good. It doesn't matter if it's not ESL teaching per se. Having classroom experience is what most employers are looking for. If you've got one, then make sure you mention this in your CV. It will equally boost your chances of having employment. Employers are looking for experienced teachers, teachers with huge experiences as far as teaching is concerned, especially those that have been working with kids. Employers really need this kind of teachers. So make sure you include your teaching experience on your CV when applying for jobs in Thailand. I mentioned that it's good to have a teaching certificate. Yeah, that's right. But if you don't have one, you shouldn't bother too much. All right, let's continue. I mentioned about teaching certification in the kingdom. The point is, If you don't have a degree in education, you shouldn't bother too much because there are teachers working here who do not have a bachelor's degree in education. Most of the teachers come in here with qualification from other disciplines. It's okay because the system permits teachers to work without qualification, without a bachelor's degree in education, excuse me. That's because when you work here for a period of 5 years, you are expected to like take additional courses at the level of the university that deals with teaching and classroom management, after which you'll be qualified to apply for a 5 years teacher's license. This license is what officially solidify your status as a bona fide teacher in the kingdom. You shouldn't worry too much. What is important is for you to have a bachelor's degree. If you have one, you can also try. And teaching in Thailand is not only limited to English conversation, no. Right now, schools in Thailand are also in need of teachers in various disciplines. Like they are looking for teachers who can do the sciences. Maybe you're good in biology, chemistry, physics, or math. If you can do that, it's good. It's not limited to English language. In fact, my advice to you as a non-native speaker is if you can do any of the sciences, then please look for a job in the sciences. Believe me, you'll get it quite easily because schools would rather give jobs about English communication to native speakers, but they will give the sciences to non-native. I don't know why it's so, but I want to believe most schools are convinced that non-native speakers can handle the sciences quite well as compared to native speakers. So once again, if you don't have a degree in education, do not bother much. Come into the kingdom with whatever you've got and apply for a job. Again, there are some teachers that do come here with high school living certificates. When they come, they take a teaching training program like TOEFL, where they practice and learn how to teach over a period of time. And when they have this certification, they can equally apply for a job. It's Thailand. Everything here is possible. You shouldn't bother too much. Hit the like button, share the live video with friends. You might be helping somebody who wish to work in Thailand. Keep watching, share with friends, and make sure to subscribe. All right, the next issue I want to talk about is visa status. How can you change your visa status in the kingdom? Let us assume that you move to Thailand with a tourist visa. That's because most people travel into the kingdom with a tourist visa, and you search for a job. After you are employed, how do you change your visa? That's an important question because most foreigners are wondering how they can change their visa after obtaining a job. Worry not, it's quite easy, especially if you're fully employed, because your employer will help to like provide you with the required documents. You need an original copy of your contract in your file. You equally need a sketch of the school's map. You will need a photocopy of your director's ID. You will also need a copy of the school license granted by the government to show that the school is legal, because there are clandestine schools in the kingdom. You need these. And you equally need copies of your qualifications, CV, pictures, and perhaps COVID vaccination certificates, since we are in a time where the COVID pandemic is like troubling the whole world. These are amongst the important documents that you need to apply for a new visa, that is non-immigrant B visa, that allows you to live and work in the kingdom. And you equally need an additional medical certificate that tests your health condition. Most schools and the labor office requires foreigners to do a test, a blood test, with regards to syphilis. They want to make sure you are okay. So you'll be needing that. And the school, if you're lucky, there are some schools that can even sponsor your visa trip. Schools can actually sponsor your visa trip. They will provide you money for flight and perhaps hotel bills. So as I was saying, if you're lucky, your school will provide money for flights. They will support you financially. And with this, you can travel to any of the neighboring countries to apply for a new visa. That's non-immigrant B visa. Why? This is so because you can work in Thailand with a tourist visa. You need to change your visa status. That's why you have to go back to a nearby embassy to apply for a new visa status. For African applicants like myself, we usually go to Malaysia or Laos, but there is a catch going to Laos, because based on your nationalities, your visa application may take longer time. Like myself, I was unfortunate to stay in Vientiane for 2 months waiting for my visa to be approved. If your school doesn't like you, they wouldn't wait that long. They will get another teacher. But then it's quite fun because I got to learn a lot about Lao culture, especially in the capital city, Vientiane. But if I travel to Africa, it's quite easy. It's a day or two to get your visa approved. It all depends on you. If you're within Asia, it's quite affordable and cheap. The fee within Asia is quite affordable and cheap. You don't have to bother much. But if you're traveling out like in Africa, then it's quite expensive, because you have to think of two-way flights, which will amount to about 30 to 40,000 Thai baht. But if you are Asian, then it's good to apply within Asia or go back to your home country. If you're from Philippines, go to Philippines and apply for a new visa status there. If you're from Pakistan, go there and apply. Bangladesh, go there and apply. Or even an Indian national, go back to your home country and apply. Once you apply for a new visa status, a brand new non-B, that's non-immigrant B visa, will be issued to you. This visa is what grants you the permission to live and work in the kingdom. When you get that visa, you have to take your return flight back into the kingdom. At the airport, you will receive an automatic 60 days approval. Remember, the sticker that you have in your passport is valid for 90 days, but the immigration at the airport will like stamp in the first 60 days in your passport. It's during this time that your employer is required to apply for a work permit and eventual visa extension. The work doesn't just end with you changing your visa status at a Thai embassy abroad. When you come back into the country, there are lots of other things you've got to do. in order to like have the right requirements to stay and work in the kingdom as a teacher. Let us suppose that you've gone out, applied for the non-B, and you're back into the country. What else do you have to do? Your employer has to compile another separate file that they will send to the Ministry of Education in Bangkok, that's Krusapa, to apply for the temporary teacher's license for you. And equally, a work permit. Your school can apply for a work permit at your local labor office if you do not have a temporary teacher's license from Krusapa in Bangkok. This process usually takes 2 weeks if all your documents are okay, but if there are mistakes like delays, it can take a month or a month and a half. You have to keep your finger crossed and make sure the school provides the right documents. When you've applied through the school for a temporary teacher's license, when it's approved, your school has to take this license and go to your local labor office to apply for a work permit for you. It's with this work permit that you can extend your visa to 1 year in order to live and work in the kingdom as an English teacher. Remember, the visa you got from the embassy has 90 days validity, but you automatically have 60 days visa stamped into your passport. If this 60 days is not enough, you and your school can go to your local immigration office to extend the visa for another 30 days, during which you are expected to like compile all the necessary documents and work permit to do an automatic extension for 1 year. Another thing you have to be careful about is your contract. Some employers make the mistakes of like using the contract that they gave you from the very first day for you to travel out of the kingdom to apply for a visa in applying for the work permit and visa extension. If you use the same contract, the immigration will consider that you've been working for quite a long time, and when they intend to extend your visa, they'll deduct those months that you've worked in the school, and you wouldn't have 1 year extension. Rather, you find yourself having 9 months or 8 months. If you need exact 12-month extension, then you have to request for your employer to make a new contract by changing the dates. That's basically what happens. And you will be free to live and work in the kingdom as long as you stay employed, the work permit is valid, you're good. And one thing I want to also emphasize on is that if you are in a school working as a foreigner and you intend to look for a new job, please don't just run away. The word is ghosting. You shouldn't just run like that, because if you do, it will affect you in the long run. Supposing you have a job in another city, you think this job is better than the one you have at the moment. Talk to your employer. Cancel your contract amicably. Discuss with your employer when to cancel your visa and work permit in order to avoid overstay. Move to the new job and make sure your new employer collaborates with your former employer in order to cancel your visa and extend a new visa. That's how it works. If you just run like that with your work permit and visa, when you get to the new city where you intend to work, the immigration there will refer you back to your previous city for you to cancel your work permit and visa, because they will be assuming that maybe you run away from your job site. Please avoid doing this. This is a mistake that most people make, and it's not good. Avoid doing it at all costs. Always make sure you leave a job amicably. Whew. It's quite hot here in Thailand. Climate change. Normally, this time of the year should be cold, but the weather now, it's not. It's very hot, as if it's summer. We are experiencing longer days, shorter night here. It's not easy. I'm under the AC, but I'm still sweating as if I'm outside. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and share with friends. I upload new videos on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And I'd like you to leave a comment in the comment section of this live session. Tell me what you like to learn about Thailand. Come up with possible ideas. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you know about life in Thailand and how you can work here long term. And for those that don't know me, Dango is my real name, hence the name of my YouTube channel. And I'm from Cameroon. I've been living here for the past 8 years. So I can proudly say I understand what life is in the kingdom, especially when it comes to employment and workplace policy, not just in Thailand, but in other teaching abroad destinations. So please feel free to leave your message and comment. See me as your career advisor. All right, the last aspect of this live session I'd like to discuss about is life in Thailand as a whole. You've applied for a job, you've gotten one, you've successfully changed your visa status, you're now working full-time in the kingdom as a teacher. How would life treat you? Maybe you're wondering, what is life like in the kingdom? Well, first thing first, good news. Be happy because there are lots of expats in the kingdom. The expat community here is quite big, so you're bound to see many expats around. That's a good thing. If you live in some of the major cities like in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Phuket, Chonburi, Pattaya, you will definitely meet a lot of experts from all over the world. You wouldn't lack friends here. You will meet people from all walks of life. And not every foreigner in the country is a teacher, no. There are some foreigners here who do business. They are married to Thais and they have a non-O visa which permits them to live and conduct businesses in the kingdom. There are others that work as digital nomad. They do online teaching. So there are a lot of people you see here. There are some foreigners who come here for missionary work. They work in the church. They are clergymen and clergywomen. So there are a lot of different people you meet here. It's not boring. And of course, we all know why Thailand is more popular. Beautiful sceneries, the nightlife is quite entertaining, and of course, sumptuous food. You wouldn't lack activities to do to keep yourself entertained and fun. There are lots of places you can travel to, a lot of things to discover in Thailand. And hey, it's called Amazing Thailand for a reason. Yeah, so you shouldn't worry about your life. You can't get bored. And if you're somebody that likes to go out nightlife, then you are in for a big surprise because there are a lot of things here that will shock you. The nightlife is quite fun. Is it alcohol, the ladies to hang out with, fellow men to talk with, a lot of things to do that I wouldn't want to give more details about it. And you need to equally think of accommodation. Contrary to popular view that life in Thailand is quite cheap and affordable, I would say right now it's not. It's not that cheap and affordable. Perhaps people describe it as cheap and affordable based on their home country and currency, but if you're somebody that have been living in Thailand long term, you understand that life is no longer cheap, especially when you deal with the local currency. Since the outbreak of COVID, prices of goods in this kingdom has skyrocketed. Yeah, so it's not that cheap. You have to be mindful how you spend. I'll advise you to spend wisely, and by spending wisely you need to watch out on your accommodation. Live simple. Do not go for expensive accommodation. Look for a place that is quite comfortable for you. and make sure you manage whatever amount of money you are making as a salary. And payment here in Thailand as a teacher is not quite huge as compared to other teaching abroad destinations. Our international schools we pay teachers close to $2,000, but that is it. For most government and private schools, your salary is limited between 800 to about $1,300. It's advisable for you to like spend wisely and manage as much as you can in order to live comfortably. And of course, if you wish to make a family, you can have a Thai girlfriend, get married to a Thai local. This will give you more opportunities to like live and explore the country the more. And one more thing, when living here, you need to think of means of transportation. There are different means of transportation in the kingdom, but as a teacher, you may want to consider having a personal transportation, maybe motorbike or a car. If you do that, then you have to have an international driver's license. If not, apply for a driving license within the kingdom. Check around your city. There are lots of driving schools that offer these services, or you go to a government office to do a test drive and have a Thai driver license. It's important because if the police finds you using the road without a license, you are in for a big trouble. You will pay a fine. In worst case scenario, if you are involved in an accident, then you'll be in big trouble because all the blame will go on you. And finally, you need to think of health insurance. You shouldn't live in Thailand without a health insurance. It's very important. You never can tell where things might go wrong. Yeah. Always make sure you apply for a health insurance. There are lots of health insurance packages that your employer can help you with. Try to get one. It's very important. Once your employer helps you with the health insurance package, you can do a monthly deposit. You pay money for this package, which covers you. It could be a single health package, or it could be a package that covers you and your entire family. I hope this explanation helps to answer some of your questions about working in Thailand. If not, leave a comment in the comment section of this video. Thanks for watching. Until then, see you next time. Sawadee krap. Bye bye.